A very good day to you. I'm Hank Gross, MidHudsonNews.com. It's Monday, August 5th. The news today brought to you by the Galleria at Crystal Run. The developer selected by the state to build a housing subdivision on the site of the former Downstate Correctional Facility in Fishkill has scaled back its plans to build over 1,300 homes on the site to between 800 to 1,300 units. Town Supervisor Ozzie Albra says principals indicated that water and sewer services would be provided by the city of Beacon and that Central Hudson has ample electric capacity. Albra also noted that traffic is the town's primary concern.
I sense that they do want to work with the town to come up with some type of arrangement where there's a community buy-in. So I'm partially optimistic that we can do something together.
Albra says the town planning board would most likely require a draft environmental impact statement, which would require a public hearing. The Dutchess County Legislature's Government Services and Family and Human Services Committees this week will consider a plan to divide the Department of Behavioral and Community Health into two separate departments. Members will also consider changing the Veteran Services Division of the Health Department into a standalone county unit known as the Office of Veterans Affairs. The proposed Health Department plan will divide it into the Department of Health and the Department of Mental Health. A straw poll of the Newburgh City Council has determined the police commissioner's post will not be filled following the recent departure of former Commissioner Jose Gamarez. Mayor Torrance Harvey and Councilman Omari Shakur support refilling the job, with Shakur saying it's necessary for the community.
George Floyd, that's when we basically went into the commissioner position because Newburgh had a history of killing some black people too before. And so this is just a safety valve of commissioner. A commissioner is a safety valve so we can make sure that our police department does their job. But the chief is that's his job basically, but this is just an outlet. This is just something basically for the community.
Councilman Robert Sklarz says the post is not needed in Newburgh.
For a police force this size, for a community, a small urban community such as ours, the leadership of the chief is sufficient for our needs.
Councilman Robert McLemore, a police lieutenant in the town of Wallkill Police Department, said a similar position in Newburgh could handle the administrative duties of the former police commissioner. More news right after this.
Find over 100 retailers allowing you to spend hours shopping safely at the Galleria at Crystal Run. Enjoy the big brands and the diverse selection of family-owned stores all in one location. The Galleria at Crystal Run offers dining options for everyone with Fuji 110 Grill, Allen's Mediterranean Grill, and Peru Cuisine. Discover the Mid-Hudson Valley's premier shopping, dining, and entertainment destination, the Galleria at Crystal Run. For more information, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, or visit GalleriaCrystalRun.com.
New Paltz Deputy Mayor Alexandria Wolchik has been found guilty by members of the Ulster County Democratic Committee ethics jury after a complaint was filed by her fellow Dems on the use of anti-Semitic language on social media. The ethics complaint was filed in June after Wolchik had drawn the ire of Jewish Congregation of New Paltz in May for sharing social media posts with language considered offensive by Rabbi Adam Serino Jones and his organization. The rabbi said Wolchik used language that put the safety of Jews in New Paltz in jeopardy. She says her posts had been misinterpreted. 54 Democrats representing 6 towns on the Ulster County Democratic Committee filed an ethics complaint against her for the so-called racist and anti-Semitic language. After the complaint was filed, an ethics hearing was conducted by the Dems. On August 2nd, the Democratic Committee ethics jury convicted Wolchik. Residents from across the Hudson Valley yesterday attended the annual La Galagusta, a Mexican cultural celebration featuring song and dance, handmade crafts, and Mexican food. The Poughkeepsie Waterfront at Warriors Park hosted the event, which was also celebrated in Mexico. Members of the organizing committee were applauded for their efforts that resulted in the best attended festival yet. Committee members reside in Dutchess, Orange, Ulster, and Putnam counties. A replica of the Amistad, a 129-foot schooner that was the center of slavery controversy in the late 1830s, is visiting the Kingston waterfront through Wednesday with its mission to educate the public of this historical footnote. The visit is being sponsored by the Hudson River Maritime Museum, where the schooner is now docked for its visit through the middle of the week. Lisa Klein, the executive director of the museum, says it's a fascinating story.
This boat here is a replica of the Amistad, which played a role in the slave ship industry in the 1800s. Fascinating story that ends up in a very, very, very positive outcome of emancipation for slaves and the laws around that.
The Amistad's visit this week includes talks about that time in American history, music, and showing of the film of the same name, which was made by Steven Spielberg in 1997. Vinnie Tamagna, former Putnam legislator and current director of transportation for Putnam, will be departing county employment on August 14th after accepting a new position as director and program manager for paratransit in Broward County, Florida. The resident of Cold Spring, right across the Hudson River from Orange County, began his career in public service in 1995 as a member of the 9-member county legislature. A 36-year-old Waverly man has been arrested by Ulster County Sheriff's deputies for allegedly breaking into a residence on Broadway in Ulster Park and burglarizing it. Jonathan Davis was charged with felony burglary and criminal mischief and a misdemeanor of petty larceny. Davis was arrested on July 26th, 4 days after the break-in. He was remanded to the Ulster County Jail without bail. I'm Hank Gross, MidHudsonNews.com. The news today brought to you by the Galleria at Crystal Run.